What is happening, fellas? We are back. We're going to be tackling some 2024 NFL playoff best ball drafts over on Underdog Fantasy. A lot of fun now that we know exactly where everybody finished and who's playing who on Super Wildcard Weekend. And then we can actually fashion out real scenarios of like, hey, if this team beats that team, then these two teams are going to play in the divisional round. This is not hypotheticals anymore. It's not, brain rot trying to figure out exactly what these guys will do. Of course, Underdog Fantasy is the best place to play playoff best ball, and I will drop the link to sign up on Underdog Fantasy in the chat. 100% back up to $100. It's also linked down below in the description. And then also when we go into a draft, if you guys want to draft with us and be in the draft with us, we'll give you a few seconds before we actually enter it. So, Danny, what's up? We're going to get spicy here in the backseat drafting for us because, of course, we are located in Ontario. But, what's going on?
I mean, not much. I got to get this out of the way at the beginning of the live stream before we get into it, but just want to say brought glory back to Michigan. 2012 had to endure that heartbreak against Ohio State, like since throughout the 2010s, 62-39, double OT loss. Like we've been through it, but at the end of the day, nobody's got it better than us. Go blue. Go blue.
Yep, there you go. Love to see it. So got a couple people in the chat. What's going on, Bailey? What's going on, Cody? What's going on, Toronto Dave and some others here. Spicy, let's recap some of the teams that we drafted last time we did this here. Because we did draft these, I believe, in week 17 or before week 17, maybe.
Oof,
so we did just absolutely get crushed there with a Keaton Mitchell and JT. Just this team is dead. We don't have
that's weekly winners at least.
Yeah, that's weekly winners. I actually don't know. I think that might have been a team that Spicy drafted while I was in Montreal. I think that's actually when I think he was just in that draft with me. But yeah, let's take a look at the three that we drafted. Yeah, I'm in that draft. So yeah, I was definitely in Montreal for that one. Fuck. Okay, so this is that's my team there. I got a Trevor Lawrence pick there. Not great. Anyways, let's take a look at some of these gauntlets. Hopefully some of these are live. So we got an ETN on this one. We do have like a little Chiefs and 49ers situation going on. I guess we're going to need an NFC championship with Gibbs in there, but we also stacked up the Rams, which is their first round opponent. So that's not ideal. Otherwise, we're going to have to rely on Clyde Edwards-Helaire for a couple of rounds, which is probably not going to work out too well. What do we got on this other team here? Let's see what else we got going on. This one's looking promising. Okay. All right. We got a live team here. So Miami, I mean, I'd imagine Tyreek Hill's ADP is no longer this high because Miami is now the 6th seed, which makes their chances to go to the Super Bowl a lot lower. And that obviously raises the chances of like the Bills to go to the Super Bowl. But I mean, we do have it built out here that we got a little bit of a I don't know. This is not really a well-built team either because it's not like we have a Buccaneers like Dolphins right now.
It's built out. Mincash. I was gonna say, by the way, the Dolphins falling from the 2 seed to the 6 seed. Big blow on their playoff chances because instead of getting a home field advantage for at least the first 2 rounds, assuming you advance up until the AFC Championship, now you got to go on the road against Kansas City. And even if you beat Kansas City, again, I'm assuming that the Bills. I was just gonna say, I'm assuming that the Bills should be able to take care of the Steelers. Then you're going to Baltimore, like Corey said. So having the Chiefs, the defending champions, and the Ravens, arguably the best team in the NFL, both on the road in your first 2 rounds, not ideal.
No. So let's take a look at this last team, and then we'll get into a draft here. So this one we got, hopefully this is good. We do have a clean team here. So,
whoa.
I mean, let's see the construction. We got Dak Prescott as a quarterback for round 1 because we have Brock Purdy, but we did secure the Purdy McCaffrey. No other 49ers, which is unfortunate. But on the AFC side of things, can we field it? Can we even field the Super Bowl with this team? Oh, yeah, we can. We have Pacheco, Kelsey, and Justin Watson, and then some one-off like Jerome Ford, David Njoku if they end up upsetting not upsetting the Texans. It'll probably be like an evenly matched game. By the way. What's up?
I said two paths to supporting a full team. Basically, you need the Chiefs to make it out of the AFC, and you're going to have, let's just say, a high-scoring Cowboys 49ers NFC Championship. Either team in this instance would actually give you a live team, I believe.
Oh, yeah, you're correct. Yeah, you could actually get Cooks in there as well. So yeah, not a bad looking team there. That one's definitely the best of the 3. So I mean, now that we actually know where everybody's playing and like who's in the playoffs and that kind of thing, this should be a lot better. And this is kind of the benefit, obviously, to waiting to draft these playoff best ball teams until now, because we don't have dead players or anything. But if the gauntlet is still live, there's going to be plenty of teams that are dead, and you might be matched up in round 2. Obviously, in round 1, you're going to be in a draft room with the people that you draft with now. But in the divisional round, some teams might have, Jaguars on them or, Keaton Mitchell on them or whatever.
Yeah. There's a double benefit, I guess, to both sides, if you will. The benefit, if you did it early, is if you kept a relatively clean team, your actual pod is going to be a lot weaker because people are drafting based off uncertainty rather than the certainty. Whereas now it's like it's going to be harder for you to advance out of your group. But like Corey said, if you're playing against teams that have dead players, it's going to make it easier for round 2 and on.
Yeah, and I think the people who have smaller bankrolls, like they only have the budget to draft 4 gauntlet teams or a couple mitten teams or whatever, this waiting till now definitely favors them.
Agreed.
Because you're going to burn entries early on. If you have a big bankroll, you can afford to burn some entries. But if you just have like I'm only going to play $50 worth of playoff best ball, then this is probably the route for you. And of course, if you do want to sign up on Underdog, check out the link in the description there and in the chat. We are going to enter this draft. Spicy, if you want to go into it, we should be able to get this filled. Gauntlet's almost done. It's almost filled. There's I think it's 75, 80% filled or something like that. So one more person, if you guys want to join in, we have this thing filled. I would imagine these drafts are really going to start filling fast and furious. They do have Spicy before the draft kicks off. If you want to just go to the lobby real quick, we got the 102. Just go to the lobby real quick. I just want to showcase all the contests to everybody that's in here. So the little mitten, if you guys are just, I want to dip my toes into playoff best ball, $3 entry. Those are perfect for you. Little gauntlet, a little bit more mid stakes as opposed to the gauntlet's like a bigger field, 67K entrance versus 4,500. And then the mitten 4 is going, that's a $5 entry. Looks like the big mitten is filled because that is no longer sitting here. So there was a $250 entry tournament, but the big mitten is actually done. I got 3 bullets into that one. Unfortunately, 2 of them are not looking too hot because the Colts got eliminated. And I had Trevor Lawrence on one of those teams with Calvin Ridley as well. So, but my best big mitten team is actually looking pretty decent.
Yeah, I didn't end up doing any big mittens when we were in Buffalo, but I think I have 25 gauntlet teams, and I named all of them, so I'll keep track. I got a couple that are like Cowboys, 49ers, NFC Championship with like the Chiefs going back the other way. The problem is, if it does end up being a Ravens Niners Super Bowl, how many teams are going to be able to build a full Super Bowl lineup with both of them being the 1 seeds?
I would imagine, did Lamar Jackson just go first overall?
We got Christian McCaffrey, I guess.
We got Christian McCaffrey 102. That has never happened to me so far. So that is really awesome that we just got that. But I agree with you. It's going to be extremely challenging to advance a 49ers Ravens. The only way I think that people will be able to do it is if they drafted all the way back in week 14, week 15, when you could get a little bit more ADP texture on the Ravens and you kind of just guessed right that would be the 1 seeds. But even at that point, that would have been really difficult to do. But the reason I say it would have been easier to do it then is because you're going to have a lot of people in your pod that have dead teams. So it would have been easier to advance. Even if, say, you could only field a 4-man roster in week 1 of the wildcard round, it might have been easier for you to advance out of pods early on versus now.
So that's the thing. If you're going to draft both teams that you predict to be the 1 seeds, you got to do it before they become actually the 1 seeds. Because like you said, there's going to be teams that draft Jaguars. There's going to be teams that draft Colts. There's going to be teams that drafted, Vikings, Saints, right? So getting ahead of the curve there, like you said, big time advantage. My vote here would probably
be Kittle. And he goes.
Yeah, so we're not going to have another Niner. So I think we do have to start building our cross stack. I would probably say the Mahomes-Kelsey turn would probably be our best bet here, if we can do it.
Yeah, Mahomes-Kelsey would be interesting. I would not mind attempting to try and do. I guess we won't be able to do a Ravens 49ers because we don't have either of the quarterbacks. Yeah. I wouldn't mind grabbing a Monra and building out the Lions, but I'm down for Kelsey Mahomes. We could probably get a Lion stacks pieces later on, potentially to build out a Lions Chiefs.
Because it would be tough if we don't take our AFC on this turn. Take Kelsey first because the other guy's got a quarterback, I would say. It'd be tough if we didn't take our AFC quarterback now because what's going to be left to us, especially after like Steve and TTP pick, like they would just build Mahomes.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really challenging just in general to build out some of these stacks because honestly, more so than any other year, I don't feel great about a lot of the like secondary stacks. Like I really do think that this NFL landscape is pretty top heavy right now. And I honestly find it challenging to believe that it's not the 49ers or maybe the Cowboys in the NFC. And on the AFC side of things, I feel like it's
Ravens or Bills.
It's the Ravens and Bills and pretty much everybody else. Like the Chiefs are not playing well. The 4 seed is the Houston Texans. They're a great story, but I don't think they're making noise in the playoffs.
I feel
The
most confident
Browns are
about
the
Cleveland,
5 seed.
man.
Like, they have Joe Flacco. Like, are they the 3rd best team in the AFC right now? The Dolphins are kind of, cast aside right now. They're not playing very well. So I don't think this is the year to get cute and try and build out like, oh, what if the Steelers go on the run? Obviously, if you get sniped, that's kind of your best course of action. But at the same time, I really do think like it's better to strategize how to get these good teams through than it is to try and get bad teams through who probably aren't going to win games.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So we're going to be on the clock in 5 picks. Ideally,
Hopefully,
if Pacheco and
Rashee
could fall.
Rice or Pacheco are available for us. Rashee Rice just went.
Oh my
Pacheco went
God.
right after. So this guy, is he the one that took Kittle too? He took Ayuk, Purdy. So he's literally just cucking us at a couple different turns here.
Douche.
Yeah, literally. Well, the nice thing about Kansas City is that we can build out later on. There's a lot of guys later on that we can build out stacks with, obviously. We are going to have to think about our NFC here. What are we thinking here?
I'm thinking you want to go with Pollard, assuming that the Cowboys, not assuming, the Cowboys and 49ers can't make it or can't play each other until the NFC Championship.
That would be a good one, yeah. And Pollard goes. Okay. I think Gibbs and building out like Jameson Williams, Sam Laporta type would probably be our best avenue for an NFC stack then.
Yeah, because
it's also unlikely that the 49ers and Lions play each other.
They can't play. They can't play up until the NFC Championship. Because Lions got the 3 seed, so even if they win, they would almost assuredly, or not almost assuredly, they would play the Cowboys. Or if the Cowboys hypothetically lost to the Packers,
they would play us or Philadelphia. Then,
yeah,
in
correct.
That situation. Yeah. So hopefully we can get the challenging thing now too about the Lions is Sam Laporta is dealing with an injury. So are we confident that Sam Laporta is going to be back for the time that we need him? Because we also won't have McCaffrey round 1, so we're going to be hamstrung a little bit trying to advance this team. And of course, everybody knows who's in the playoffs now, so advance rates are pretty crucial. What do you think here?
We're in a tough spot.
Do we go for a one-off to try and advance this?
Yeah,
we're not really in a very good spot. Like we could grab Kupp or Devontae Smith or Waddle or something.
I would have said maybe, yeah. I'll let you make the pick.
Let's grab Smith here. Let's grab Smith because it's also unlikely that like if the Eagles win in round 1, then they'd play the Niners in round 2 most likely, and you get 2 games out of Smith then, which is good.
Yep. Man, that guy really cucking us on the.
We do need to. Yeah, we gotta Spicy. If you want to star Jameson Williams and Sam Laporta and all the Lions that we might need here, especially the pass catchers, we could also grab, because we don't have a Chiefs running back, grab a Star Montgomery as well, because we could grab both Lions running backs because you can actually start both of them. Of course, if you guys are new to playoff best ball, the scoring format is 1 quarterback, 1 running back, 2 wide receiver / tight ends, and then a flex. So you could start up to 2 running backs and up to 3 wide receivers and tight ends in that championship if you want to star Montgomery there, just so we have him on the back burner in case we need him. But yeah, and we'll also, if you want to go to Kansas City's players as well and star like Justin Watson and Sky Moore and those type of dudes.
Yeah.
Just literally everyone there is fine.
Even a Tony, like I wouldn't be opposed to like a Tony either, like last round.
Yeah, MVS is a good one, I think, too. I think MVS is going to really slide, and not a lot of people are going to draft him because of just how bad he's been, but he is still on the field enough that all he needs in the championship. And he actually was a missing piece last year in the NFC or the AFC championship. He caught like a bomb touchdown. So he was a very common piece to have in the finals for a lot of people.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay, so what do we want to roll with here? Montgomery, probably?
I would say set up the AFC Championship side, no? Because we got Chiefs, so we don't draft the Dolphin here. Probably draft, so 2C would be Bills. Are there any Bills on the board, like a Gabe Davis or Dalton Kincaid?
I think Montgomery's the play, and then with our next pick, we could grab Davis or Kincaid.
Okay, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. Yeah, because if we grab Davis or Kincaid, my hunch would be Davis, just given the scoring formats. Half PPR, he's the big play dude. Yeah, that's true. He is dealing with an injury, so maybe we actually
not to mention. Kincaid. Well, because I was going to say, not to mention that also sets up the AFC side, right? Because you would get hypothetically in this scenario a Bills versus Chiefs second round, and I mean we've seen how that's historically played out, where there's going to be points scored in that type of matchup.
Yeah,
quarterbacks going either way. So even if technically, we're already betting on Chiefs, so we don't necessarily want Kincaid to make the AFC Championship. If he gives you a big touchdown performance in the divisional round and helps you advance, we already have a really good nucleus for that NFC and AFC Championship side.
Yeah, for sure, because those guys could definitely play each other, the Chiefs and the
Yeah.
and the Bills, like you said. How would they not play each other? Would be
Well,
the
if one of them lost, pretty much.
Oh,
That's
right,
the only
yeah,
way
so
they
they're
don't.
guaranteed to play each other in
Yeah.
that round 2 matchup, which kind of sucks. So we probably should have built out. But like, here's the thing though, like I don't foresee the Dolphins beating, like we can't pick the Dolphins because we have the Chiefs, and I don't
Yeah.
foresee the Steelers upsetting the Bills
They
anyway.
won't.
So like there's no point. Like the only other option would be then to grab a Cleveland Browns player or Nico Collins.
Correct. Now, like the reason why you would play this is, let's just say the Steelers secondary gets exposed, the Bills like score a ton of points in the divisional round, and maybe you need Bills to get out of your pod. And then not to mention divisional round, if that ends up being a high scoring game, yes, you only got 2 games out of it, but if those 2 games are really advantageous towards advancing, I don't necessarily disagree with the logic there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I feel you there.
Um
I'll go to a couple comments here while we wait. Cody says, "Hey guys, like the video yesterday. If the Giants get sniped on all 3 top
Yeah.
receivers, I'll be sad. Don't think we will go QB. Just fired our O-line coach who sucked at developing, so who knows? Yeah, in the
They were the
mock draft
toughest
we did
pick.
yesterday, we gave him, was it Fashanu?
Well, for Sean, so basically what happened is the way the mock draft board built out, because the Bears didn't take a quarterback, they traded down. We had 3 wide receivers going in the top 5 and 2 quarterbacks. Could have made the argument with Jaden Daniels, but given the monetary reasons for keeping Daniel Jones, let's just say they wanted to start it 1 more year. At that point, if there's no wide
We're
receivers
on the clock
board,
real quick. Just saying, you can finish your point after. So do we want to grab,
we could go
the question
Nico.
here is, do we want to just grab Laporta, or do we want to maybe try and build out Nico?
I don't mind Nico or Laporta. I'll let you make the pick here, but Nico would.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we're gonna have a roster in the finals, so let's go with Nico, and then we can roster. We got 2 running backs. We have Kelsey and we have Mahomes, so we'll need 1 more player, and of course, we know we can always use backdoor Chiefs players as well. I wouldn't mind grabbing Jameson Williams or Laporta with this next pick.
I think we need a Chief or a Niner here. No, we don't have a full Super Bowl lineup right now.
Niners are not a Super Bowl for us because McCaffrey is the only Niner we have.
Oh, right, fair.
Lions, Chiefs is what we're building out here. We have 2 Lions running backs, we have a Chiefs tight end, and we have Mahomes. So we'll need another pass catcher from one of those 2 teams. I think Laporta, outside shot to play in wild card weekend. We're pretty good in terms of our min cash ability on this team. So I think we could probably afford to take a shot on Laporta here, because I just like his projection way better than Jameson Williams anyway, and we're getting a slight discount because of the injury. So I think Laporta should be the pick here for us.
Yeah, I'm cool with it.
Yeah. Like we have an easy path to really advance out of the first round, I think. So, yeah. And then we got how many picks left? Just 1 more?
1 more.
Yeah. So we're going to grab a Chiefs pass catcher here.
Later, yeah.
Yeah. So do we want to go off the board because we have the thing settled already? Like we have Justin Watson just went anyways too. I think we should go off the board with somebody who's further down in ADP. Like Sky Moore or Marquez Valdez-Scantling here.
Yeah, give me. I like MVS here.
Okay, well, yeah, we'll do MVS at 59 then, and we should be good that way. Yeah, that's pretty well set up. I actually like the way that this team turned out. It's a lot cleaner now, knowing that we won't have any dead players too. Bailey says, "Sup, boys? Just been enjoying Flock content all day." I appreciate that, Bailey. A couple of Flock announcements too for Bailey and anybody else in here that might be a Flock subscriber. All of the player card and rookies will be added to the site either today or tomorrow. So we will have 2024 prospects added to the site, and the Dynasty Land guys have already made like player cards on these players. They've already scouted them, and we will be making them as well. And when you go to say Marvin Harrison on the site, you'll be able to click on them and see our opinion on him and his like traits and that kind of thing. And then also what the Dynasty Land guys think of him as well. So that'll be a really cool new feature coming to the site. And then we have a couple other things coming too. Like we're going to have sleeper integration pretty soon where you guys will be able to input your teams and it'll pull up. And if you're in 4 dynasty leagues, you can pull up your dynasty leagues and see all of the, potential other rosters in your league and the trades and all that kind of thing. But yeah, couple flock announcements. Though I'm so excited. You guys have no idea for the next couple months. By the time like rookie drafts get here, you guys are like going to be shocked with how much cool stuff we have. Another thing that I don't know if I'm allowed to announce yet, but there will be a lot of advanced data research that you guys are able to do because we have gone ahead and gotten the rights to some of the data. So it won't just be our opinions on the site that you can see and our expert rankings and that kind of thing. There'll actually be like legit advanced statistics that you guys can ask about, or that you guys can look into as well. And somebody in the chat actually asked this. Cody said, what site or tool do you use to get advanced stats on players? Pretty soon, the Flock Fantasy site will be one of the sites that you can use for that. But currently, Pro Football Focus is one of the big ones. FTN Fantasy is another good one. And Sports Info Solutions. Those are like the main three I probably use. But there's a number of sites out there. Draft Sharks also has a lot of good information as well. But yeah, Spicy, you can queue up another gauntlet. We can get one.
Is there?
Here again. Pretty satisfied with that team. Actually, let's recap the team real quick, just because I want to show everybody, if they've never done a playoff best ball draft, exactly what our thought process here was. So obviously we get McCaffrey to fall to us at 2. Really unfortunate that we didn't also have, more 49ers fall to us, because this would have been a really unique team then. But we get the one off Christian McCaffrey. In this scenario, it looks like we're getting a 49ers and Lions NFC championship. And really all you need is McCaffrey from the 49ers anyway. So that's definitely good that we got him. And then we can field a 6-man starting roster in the Super Bowl if it becomes a Chiefs-Lions Super Bowl, with Mahomes at quarterback, the 2 RBs from the Lions there, Travis Kelce, Sam Laporta, and Marquez Valdez-Scantling. And then we also have good one-offs here with Devontae Smith, potentially get 2 games out of him. And then Dalton Kincaid, hopefully get 2 games out of him, and maybe even 3 games out of Nico Collins if the Texans were to go on a run, but most likely just 1 or 2 games out of him.
Yep. Like how we formatted that team. Do you want to cue another one?
Yeah, let's cue another one here. Ideally, I would say if you're searching for what's like optimal in terms of, and literally Sammy talks about this. He's like, I don't think having 5 different teams is very optimal. I 100% agree with that. Ideally, in an optimal world, you have like 3 players from an NFC Super Bowl contender, 3 players from an AFC Super Bowl contender, and then 2 players from the other AFC and NFC championship teams in that situation, or maybe 3 from one and 1 from the other. But the problem is the NFL isn't optimal, right? There's going to be spike performances that sometimes, if Nico Collins has 200 yards and 2 touchdowns in the wild card round, it's going to be hard to advance without Nico Collins.
Yeah, and let me add to that. For example, let's just look at BBM as the prime example. That guy got sniped from the optimal choice of having Dak Prescott or Jared Goff as his quarterback. Well, guess what? Come championship weekend, those are 2 of the most chalk quarterbacks. Dak, solid game. Jared Goff, obviously a big dagger if you had him in your lineup. Instead, because he got sniped on both those guys, he got a low-owned Jordan Love to the squad. And because he got that Jordan Love, he correlated him to Jaden Reed, and now he's sitting there with $3 million. So,
yeah, the NFL, I understand what Karane's saying 100%. If you can, the best case scenario is you get 6 players into the Super Bowl or 7 players into the Super Bowl, and the other players from your teams are players that could play against them in the NFC and AFC championships. But the problem is that the NFL is not that clean. There's messiness all over the place. You're going to get spike performances, and if you pick your one-offs correctly, then that's going to help you advance those teams. So I am very much of the opinion that as long as I can field 6 or 7 players in the Super Bowl, I'm not going to worry too much about like correlating my AFC and NFC championships, because that assumes that the NFL world is going to operate very cleanly with no messiness.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be one upset for sure, whether it's like the Browns beating the Ravens.
Like J.K. Dobbins and DK Metcalf were huge one-offs that you needed last year. And if you didn't have them, it would have been hard to advance those teams. If you would say, because like DK Metcalf and J.K. Dobbins, their teams didn't go far in the playoffs, but you kind of needed them wild card round.
Yeah, 100%. Well, like, I mean, the prime example there is whichever team loses of the Rams-Lions, that's the highest over-under of the entire slate. Even in a losing effort, if let's just say, I don't know, from the Rams' perspective, you needed to have Kyron Williams, you need to have Puka Nacua, and you needed to have Cooper Kupp to be able to make it out of your first round. And let's just say the Rams
again, by the way.
Oh, for sure. And let's say the Rams lost 38-35 to the Lions. Well, guess what? You advance out of your pod. And if you only had a tiny bit of exposure to those one-offs and they weren't the nucleus of your fully formed team, let's just say you had 49ers and the Rams helped you get those 49ers live by the second round, it's still a worthwhile pick.
Yeah. And what Karane's talking about, and the reason he brings this up is like, hey, it's not worth your time to take I don't know, who's somebody that projects well? Nico Collins, for example. You're better off taking a Juwan Jennings because all of the money is at the top. You're not focused on min cashing in like a contest like this. But what we're saying is, as long as I can get 6 or 7 players to the Super Bowl, I honestly don't think it matters.
Agreed.
Like taking off like a one, like I would rather get 7 players to the Super Bowl with a couple good one-offs than 8 players to the Super Bowl and pass on a good one-off for one extra piece of correlation. That's just the way I look at it. I think 6 to 7 players is the optimal amount that you want in a Super Bowl, and hell, maybe even just 5, and hope that you hit the nuts on those 5 players, because this contest is chaos. It's very difficult to get teams out of each round, and I think it's actually way harder to get a team to the Super Bowl than it is to just like cross your fingers, hope that the 8 players that you have and the 2 one-offs that you have are going to get you there.
By the way, if it does fall to us, I'm thinking here, whoever falls between Kittle or Diggs, and Purdy just went. Okay, that was not ideal.
So is Allen gone already? He goes.
Allen went 5. Which is funny.
You know what I love 25. Looking at this though is seeing that I got like a Josh Allen, like one really awesome like it was like 35, and I got Diggs at 41 in that draft. So and I had Ayuk, Amon-Ra, and Lamb on that team in addition to Diggs, which is crazy because that's like totally not possible anymore.
So are we going to build
Kittle has to be one of them for sure.
We're just going to do that.
Yeah, see, again, the problem is I just don't believe in any other AFC teams. Like, I would love to just take a different AFC team, but like with the Ravens guys off the board, I mean,
this is the 4th AFC quarterback pretty much.
Yeah, we grab Kittle for sure.
3rd because Flacco.
Yeah, we won't have a I would love to just be able to take Diggs here, but we won't have a quarterback unless we take Mahomes.
That's what I say. I'm like, do you want to go Mahomes or get Gutty and go with a Browns-Niners Super Bowl?
No, let's grab Mahomes here. It's probably the smart play.
Yeah.
We're building just like, well, at least we're getting a Chiefs 49ers this time. We weren't able to last draft because all the 49ers and Chiefs players went. Hopefully, because we have Mahomes, somebody steers a little clear of the of Rashee Rice and Isaiah Pacheco for our next picks, but we'll see.
I want to address this. How is CeeDee Lamb not the 101? You can make the argument because McCaffrey doesn't play in the first round and CeeDee does and has a favorable matchup if you viewed the 49ers and the Cowboys on the same playing field. The only problem that I have is if it does come down to it and it's the NFC Championship and the Cowboys do have to go to the 49ers, Niners probably win that 65 to 75%. Like that's probably going to be the odds for them to be able to win that game. I think the line's probably going to be about -6, -6.5. So it's like, if they were on surface level a 50-50 bet to make the Super Bowl, optimal play, CeeDee Lamb.
Which is never going to be the case because the 1 seed is inherently has a better chance of making the Super Bowl because they don't play one of the games.
Yeah, 100%.
And this guy just grabs all the Chiefs that we needed, and Pacheco is gone as well. So, I mean, it looks like Titans fired Vrabel, apparently, Spicy Hot just said.
All the Chiefs going is devastating. What is
I mean, we're gonna have to build out a really poverty-looking Chiefs stack to go along. But like, here's the thing: you look at this and you go, "We got the guys that are going to score the points at least." Like Mahomes is going to score the points, so that's good for the Chiefs. We just need the one-offs from Kansas City, like the Watsons.
We got to take Pacheco.
Pacheco's gone. Yeah, Pacheco's gone. So we're better off pivoting to our NFC Championship and AFC Championship bets here because Pacheco and everybody else is gone here.
Who's Al-Jadebo's correlation with Pacheco?
He grabbed Rashee Rice too.
No, the other guy, Al-Jadebo. It's a different person.
I don't know. He passed on Kelsey too for Pacheco, which was weird.
Okay. Yeah,
that guy got Kelsey Rice at 18-19, which is pretty insane.
Nuts.
Okay, so
it's tough.
Do we want to go Rams maybe as the second? But they're going to play the 49ers.
They play in the second round.
Yeah.
I would say because then if you go Bills, it's the same thing. They play with the Chiefs.
Should we go Eagles maybe?
I don't mind that. Or you
that's probably our best bet, I think.
You can't go Dolphins.
Because the Bills, right. Bills, Rams, and Ravens are probably off the table here because the Ravens have a bye also, so we'll need another running back in addition to Edwards. I think just take Swift is probably the play here.
Yeah, I agree.
There's not really much else we can do, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this would be assuming this draft would be assuming that the Rams were to upset the Lions and the Cowboys would play the Eagles in the second round.
We'll also have an out for either the Eagles or the 49ers in the Super Bowl as well. In this situation, right? Because if we're going to stack up MBS and Sky Moore or whoever like later on in the draft and we got Mahomes stacked with 2 pass catchers plus 2 players from the 49ers and Eagles respectively, then we'll actually have enough to field a whole starting roster. We could also grab Goddard too if we want to.
Yeah.
I also think, like I told you about this before we went live, but the graph that I saw today showed that like the AFC teams, there's a lot of very good defenses in the AFC, and the NFC teams, there's a lot of very good offenses in the NFC. It lends itself to me in these tournaments, because we're specifically focused on offensive production here, to lean towards, if I'm going to go with like, say, 7 players from one conference, 3 players from the other, it should be the NFC that you're probably doing that in.
And maybe that makes a better argument for if you're going to stack one of the 1 seeds between the Niners and the Ravens, maybe instead you shift towards Ravens as your Super Bowl bet in the AFC and have more variance in the NFC. So maybe you
take and give yourself outs for 2 NFC teams, like maybe Lions, Eagles, or whatever.
Yeah, or like it's probably going to be because if you do Ravens, you're probably not going to be able to build any 49ers. So it'd probably be
that's
like
the problem.
Cowboys and like the Eagles or the Rams.
I think other than the 49ers in the NFC, the only teams that I could actually see really making a run is the Cowboys, the Lions, and the Eagles, just because the Rams would then have to go to Santa Clara in round 2. I think the Rams are a better team right now than the Eagles are, but going to San Fran in round 2 is a death sentence. And I think everybody's just going to default to they're the team that you want to stack if you're going to go cheap. And I don't think that is the wise decision, because they would have to go through Detroit, which is not an easy place to play when they're a good team. Then they'd have to go to San Fran. And in this hypothetical scenario, you're probably playing Dallas in the NFC Championship too. So I don't want to fucking do that. I don't think the Rams are that good. I think they're good, but I don't think they're that good.
So we're back on the clock. I don't mind building. So the Browns and the Chiefs can't play each other until the NFC champion or AFC championship.
I don't mind just taking 2 games at a Cooper Cup either.
I don't mind that. I'll let you make that call then.
Let's just take 2 games at a Cooper Cup again.
Where's Amari? Amari already gone? Yeah, if Njoku's gone, Amari's gone. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So what? Again, back to what Sammy said about like, hey, maybe you don't want to just build these min cash one-offs like a Cooper Cup here. I honestly just think it's smart to grab a guy who's fallen like that. Okay, so we probably should take an AFC player here.
Yeah.
Let's go. You want to go Jerome Ford here?
I was gonna say we have no Browns. We could either go with a Brown or a Nico Collins, whichever one you want to go.
I trust the Browns to win that game more, and I think it's a defensive battle, and I think Jerome Ford could get there. Plus, we also won't have
McCaffrey got a bad run
defense.
Too.
We won't have McCaffrey round 1 as well. So Swift and Ford gives us a little bit more leeway that we can get at a round 1 with a running back production piece.
Plus, like I was mentioning, like the Houston run defense, we saw what Jonathan Taylor was able to do this past week.
We also have seen what Jerome Ford did the last time he was on the field against the Jets, and he had like a monster game. So, obviously we can't draft any more running backs now because we have 3 of them, and that's like the absolute. If you guys are wondering, like roster construction wise, I did a whole strategy video on this, and a lot of that stuff still applies. You definitely don't want to have more than 3 running backs on your team. And I would say I would only have 2 running backs on your team if neither of the 2 running backs that you have a bye. But if you have McCaffrey or Gus Edwards, then maybe you want to go with a 3rd running back.
By the way, Bailey mentioned this, but I think this is a lock. If Bill Belichick leaves the Patriots, Mike Vrabel will be the next head coach of the New England Patriots.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Like he's already gone on record when he was the coach of the Titans. Like there were reports saying, "Oh, if the New England job opened up, like Mike Vrabel would be there." And it's funny because if you were to pick like a young Bill Belichick to like take over from a cultural perspective, it would be Mike Vrabel being in that Pat system for as long as he did. Obviously, playing on that team under Bill Belichick. If anybody's going to embody that culture and being able to keep that locker room the way it's been with Bill Belichick, it would be Mike Vrabel. So I actually really like that.
For sure. Hoosier said he got CMC
wild.
at 103. That's wild for sure.
Yeah.
And Matt Weaver says, we'll answer this quick and then is DJ Moore a superstar? I do not think so. I think he's a top 20, 15 receiver maybe in the NFL, but he's not a superstar.
Yeah, and I mean, I think you can argue him in the 10 to 15 range. I think he's in an area with like Devontae Smith.
To me, superstar means he's a top 3 to 5 wide receiver.
He's like it's CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, Jamar Chase, like
Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill. Like those are probably the 5, and maybe Devontae Adams. Those are the best receivers in the league, and those guys are superstars.
Yes, and then like when you get down, like even like Stephon Diggs at this point, I don't consider him a superstar right now.
Okay, we're on the clock here. What do we want to roll with?
So
scroll down a little bit, Spicy, because we're kind of not in the neighborhood of any of these players. Do we just want to secure Justin Watson here?
I don't mind that. How far?
I think we have to, because we're at risk of missing out on some Chiefs wide receivers and stuff if we don't.
That's our last correlating piece for a Super Bowl, or do we need one more? We need Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
We don't need him. We have 3 running backs already, and we have
what unless we want to take MVS then, because we can't field the Chiefs Super Bowl then. We only have
we have
year.
the 49ers. We have McCaffrey.
No, I know. We need 5 pieces.
Oh yeah. No, we're gonna take another pass catcher. We're not taking.
We need.
Do we want to go? Let's go MVS or somebody like that.
Yeah. Okay, I'm down. MVS
Yeah, go
or
Valdez
Jawan
Scantling.
Jennings. I would say MVS because you get the extra game. I agree with that.
Yeah, let's go MVS. We also will have another pick, so we could take Hardman or Noah Gray or Kadarius Toney or something if we wanted to with our other pick. Yeah, so we could field the Super Bowl. Can we do it 2 ways or just one? I think just one, right? No, we can do it 2 ways. We have Devontae Smith and Swift too.
Yeah. Okay.
So we could field an Eagles Chiefs or a 49ers Chiefs, which is good.
Yeah, that's what's up.
And then I think we should grab I think 6 is the magic number. 6 is the one that I want into the Super Bowl week. I think it's negative EV to have 7 or 8 because it's hard to advance, and I think it's too slim to have 5.
I do think Clyde, if he falls, has to be the pick though. Like, I understand we do have 3 running backs, but theoretically you're getting 2 avenues of running back points in the Super Bowl if it was Niners versus Chiefs. And we've seen that when Pacheco misses time, who's dealing with the shoulder injury already, like if he bangs that up in the playoffs and you have Clyde Edwards-Helaire, McKinnon already on IR, that's a really good leverage piece. And I think it's
I would
really
point
cheap
you though to the fact that if we take Clyde, go to our wide receivers and tight end, Spicy, we'd only have 4 pass catchers for round 1 when Kittle's out there. Not in the lineup.
You only need to
challenging.
You only need
you
two
got
in the
field
lineup
2
though.
of them at minimum.
Yeah. So I mean, like you're assuming that Devontae Smith and Cooper Kupp make your lineup in that instance.
Yeah, you would be. Yeah, that's fair. Going 4 running backs to me just doesn't seem like a smart idea. Like I think it's better to go with a Kadarius Toney or something here.
Fair. I mean, I'm down either way. I just think if Helaire were to hit, the implied upside's a lot higher than any receiver we could take here.
That's fair. I mean, Hardman's a deep threat type of dude. He could return a punt or something. Richie James is probably not going to get on the field very much. Toney would be my pick personally.
Spicy tiebreak. You go whichever one.
You want to go Clyde or you want to go Toney?
Tony?
We'll let you make the decision here.
Oh yeah. He's debating.
It's challenging because I don't want to leave us too slim in round 1, and not that Kadarius Toney is going to be a huge fucking needle mover in round 1, but if one Chiefs receiver gets there, I feel confident that if it's not Rashee Rice, Justin Watson, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, and Kadarius Toney, we would have one solid production piece in round 1. If Kittle, if Smith has a dud, for example, and Cooper Kupp has a monster game, but we need another wide receiver to get there.
What I would point to is we already do have a Super Bowl lineup. So taking the one that would make our lineup even that much stronger if they do make it, while having maybe less of a chance to make the lineup like Clyde Edwards-Helaire would, I would lean here personally. So we can see what chat thinks.
We're not playing for min cashes. I'll give it to you. Let's go with Clyde.
Yeah, let's respect. Let's go. Man,
okay.
He advocating for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Has the fucking sky fallen?
Hey, we'll let Clyde cook.
Yeah, fuck. With a stupid helmet.
Yeah. I think going 4 running backs is suboptimal because you can only start up to 2 each week. But knowing that we're kind of inherently baking in the upside that one of our running backs will be dead in the Super Bowl at least. 2 of our running backs will be dead at least in the Super Bowl because we only have one out in the NFC Championship for either Swift or McCaffrey, and also Jerome Ford isn't going to make the Super Bowl if the Chiefs do. Yeah. So, that makes sense. Again, maybe the thing would have been to deviate where we pick Justin Watson and then go with Kadarius Toney instead. That might have been the play that we should have done. Maybe we should have gone for like Dallas Goedert if he was on the board, or whoever else there, maybe even just like a one-off Jalen Waddle to get 2 games out of him, 1 game out of him. I don't know, but I think this is probably a decent plan. So let's run it back one more time here, and then
let's see if we can get a CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, I'll be laughing, by the way, if we get another 101 and just have McCaffrey again, because I've never gotten McCaffrey luck like this in my life.
Dude, me neither.
But yeah, you also, if you guys want to, some people talking about how Penix performed last night. Yeah, not a great performance from Michael Penix Jr. I would say, if you had to say gun to your head right now, Danny, how many quarterbacks go in the first round of the 2024 NFL draft?
4 max.
So you're saying that Caleb and Drake are locks. Jaden Daniels, like 95% chance he goes in the first round.
Well, one
you're
of
saying
Nix or
one
Penix,
of Bo
probably.
Nix, Michael Penix, or JJ McCarthy will go in the first round.
Yeah, I think it would be one of Nix or Penix. I think JJ's more of a day 2 profile at this point because he hasn't been the engine
Technically,
of the offense.
Quinn Ewers hasn't not declared yet either. Neither has Sanders.
I would still take the other guys. I
think both of those guys would have declared if they were coming out because Worthy and Adonai Mitchell both declared already.
What are the odds another guy passes on CMC 101?
Dude, I'd fucking laugh my ass off.
Hopefully we can build a CD team for once. I want to build the Cowboys because I got the jerseys there. I want to get some hype.
I'm liking that we're getting some 49ers exposure though, because my portfolio on my account is very actually heavy on Cowboys. So
I have a lot of Niners on mine, oddly enough.
Yeah. My like week 18's games really kind of skewed me in like opposite directions where like a lot of my teams got killed because I have a lot of Jacksonville teams and I also had a lot of Dolphins who are now way lower in ADP because they're no longer the 2 seed. But at the same time, I also have a lot of Cowboys, which makes it way better for them. All right. So we get to grab your boy here. We go CeeDee Lamb. And hopefully we can build out Dak on the next pick here. I would assume that's about the ADP he goes, right?
Hear me out, by the way. The bright side is this assuming the Cowboys win this weekend. Even if they lost, that game is going to be a shootout. You're like if you build Cowboys correlation this week, that game's got a high over under. It's on turf. Like these guys are going to perform. Like, and I think even like a couple Packers, if you are against the Cowboys and you want to take a Jaden Reed, Jordan Love skinny, I think that's going to pay off too. I think this game and the Rams-Lions games are going to be the 2 highest scoring games of the entire weekend.
Yeah, which is why I've been taking quite a bit of one-offs from both the Rams and Lions.
Yep.
Like if I deviate for a one-off, it's usually for Jahmyr Gibbs or it's for Cooper Kupp or it's for Puka Nacua or something like that. So, yeah, I think part of the underrated, and like I talked about this already with the NFC and the AFC, like you got to think of how these games, if they play out, like what's the over-under? Is it going to be a fantasy high-scoring game and shit? Like I would love to get some Ravens exposure if we could, but like it's difficult to do that knowing that the Ravens games are probably not going to be very high-scoring as well.
I'm going to ask you here, by the way, speaking of Ravens, like
I wouldn't mind grabbing Zay Flowers here.
I was going to ask you about. I was going to ask you between Flowers and Diggs, like if one of them fell, if that would be the direction. Also, of course, the one draft we don't get CMC, all the Niners are falling.
Yeah, no kidding, eh?
Unreal.
Like
I also wouldn't hate just taking Ayuk and having the NFC Championship.
I think this guy's going to take Ayuk because he took Josh. I guess he took Josh Allen with his first pick, so maybe he's going to take Ayuk here and hope that Diggs falls back to him. But he could be just smart and take Diggs. Yeah, he's just going to take Diggs.
You want to just take Ayuk and set up an NFC Championship?
So if we do that, we're going to have to go cheap on the AFC side and maybe have like a Brown stack or something like that. Because we're going to miss out on everybody good.
What direction you want to go? You want to go Flowers?
I have no Ravens exposure, dude. Okay. I would love to just grab Zay.
Let's do it. You know I'm down. And let's hope Dak does fall back. Hoping this guy doesn't cuck his own 101.
He just got the nuts. He just got the nuts there.
Yeah, and now we go Dak.
Obscene that he just got Ayuk, Kittle, and McCaffrey. That's crazy.
That's nuts. Yeah. The literal nuts. And the only problem now, though, is what AFC side is he going to be able to build? That's the only concern I have of that is if you miss out on the quarterback of the Niners, which he has in this instance because he has CMC, Ayuk, and Kittle, then you're going to have to pray the Dolphins make it against the Niners or the Browns make it against the Niners. You have to go really cheap with your AFC team because you don't have one of the top quarterbacks on the top contenders.
Yeah, you're right, Spicy. He could have taken Pat, but then like you lose out on the Ayuk and Kittle and McCaffrey, which is like, this is why it's not as simple as saying like, oh, these NFL playoff best ball drafts, all you have to do is predict who's in the Super Bowl because it's also fantasy points that you're taking into account. And it's impossible to get all the best players on the 49ers. It's impossible to get all the best players on the Ravens and 49ers if that's what you think the Super Bowl is going to be. So if we get a Ravens 49ers Super Bowl, like I'd imagine the person that takes it down has like 4 players or like maybe probably 5. Like it's going to be hard to do.
Yeah, 100%. You would have to get lucky on your
one. And I guarantee it was a team that was drafted week 14 or week 15 or week 16 because doing that in now is like even more impossible.
Well, because now Amari Cooper even goes at 17th overall in this draft. When you were drafting, let's just say you drafted in advance thinking the Ravens and the Niners were going to be the one.
Buddy, if we get Kelsey here,
yes, smash. You shouldn't have put that in.
Absurd that we just got Kelsey. That's absurd.
Kelsey. Smash.
Dude, if Rice falls back to us
Dude,
here,
please.
this guy might take Rice because he has no AFC.
He's got the Niners.
Oh, he's going Dolphins. Okay, yeah, we're taking Rice here. That is insane, bro.
Shit. Woo! Woo! Oh, baby.
So, we don't have a running back, but the nice thing is we can double Jarek and Clyde and go Dowdle maybe too.
Yeah, we're chilling. And we take a one-off running back too mixed in there, and then we're good.
And we'll have outs. So if we build out the cow, we're gonna need another Cowboy. Hopefully Cooks falls back to us here.
By the way, Ravens and Chiefs cannot play each other until the AFC Championship.
Right, and
big.
The ideal scenario here is to stack up maybe 4 Cowboys or something, and then have 2 Ravens, 2 Chiefs.
Yep.
So we can grab Andrews later on. And is Andrews gone already, or is he? I don't know where he goes.
Andrew, or Odell, like Odell, solid too. Just search up Ravens. Yeah, Baltimore. Likely Odell, Andrews.
Bro, Andrews goes at 55.
Smash.
Are these people high, bro? He's gonna be back for the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, like
so
just
star some,
likely Andrews and Odell.
Yeah, star likely Andrews, Odell for sure. Yeah, we could maybe start Justice too.
I don't mind that.
We could go Dowdle, Clyde, Justice as our running backs.
Yeah.
The problem is though, do we want to grab somebody to try and get us through 2 rounds? Like, do we want to like for example, the Lions and
as long as we get Dowdle, we can field an NFL Super Bowl.
If Gibbs had fallen, I would have said we should have taken him, but that's fine.
So who's the highest on the board? Hurts 13 picks past AB is also wild, but we can't do that.
No.
I also don't mind Montgomery, but then again, they can play in the second round. I think Rams probably our bet. I'll let you make the pick. I'm down Swift. I'm down for Swift.
Let's go Swift because it's unlikely that they play each other, right?
Well, the Cowboys and the Eagles, if the Rams win, were to play in the second round. If they
but the Lions would win in this scenario.
Correct.
Okay, so we got Swift as our anchor running back, and then we'll grab 2 guys late. I don't think I think fading Isaiah Likely is just smart because I think Andrew's gonna be back, to be honest.
Ferguson.
Yeah, grab Ferguson, 100%. Yeah, I didn't even see him. Okay, so we got our 3 Cowboys.
Yep, we got our
we have 2 Chiefs already, so we can field, and like that's a nice fucking lineup.
Good team.
But we don't have a running back though on that team, so we'll need a Cowboys running back.
Yeah,
or Chiefs running back, one of the 2.
We need put Dowdle in the queue. I want to also see his ADP because it was like 40 something before he got hurt. Maybe he fell a little because he got hurt. He's 58 now.
Yeah, 58 right there.
Dude, even like the ancillary pieces, like Gallup is in the last round, Tolbert's in the last round. Dude, the Cowboys, they're so much cheaper than the other top teams to fucking stack.
Yeah, and do you want to grab? Do you want to star Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Jerick McKinnon too?
For sure. Is Jerick going to be back? I know he was on IR.
Yeah, maybe just Clyde then.
Okay.
That sucks too, because Jerick McKinnon is one of my highest rostered players in these tournaments because I was drafting a shit ton of him in like late in drafts, and that really sucks that he's hurt.
Well, a lot of my plan was fading Pacheco for Clyde and McKinnon because this was when he was dealing with the shoulder injury and the ADPs weren't really reflective of it. And I mean, like hypothetically, if his shoulder does get banged up, then you have a lot of fucking
Hurts being on the board is still fucking insane, by the way. Who drafted AJ Brown and Smith? Like, what are they doing?
If he falls, do we do it?
I don't think we can afford to because we're gonna need. So Beckham just went, which kind of
running backs.
Hurts just went. Okay, so I think the guy that we cannot live without is Andrews. Personally, I think we should take Andrews here.
Okay, and then
Andrews is just such a good option. Like, dude, having Andrews, Flowers, and Kelsey Rice as the 2 AFC Super Bowl people, I think are awesome.
Okay, we'll do that, and then we'll do Justice.
And then we grab 2 straight running backs here in the 9th and the 10th.
I say Dowdle. Dowdle or Justice.
We need Dowdle 100% because our quarterback is Dak, so we need Dowdle as one of them.
Yeah.
The question is, do we go Justice Hill here and hope but we can't afford to wait on Dowdle. That was the only thing. We have to take Dowdle.
Does anybody else have Cowboys? Click the grid. Who else has Cowboys exposure? I guess they're all going to be picking before us.
Pollard. That guy's Pollard. He already has a running back.
So it's unlikely that he would double dip.
Who has Cooks?
Who is Cooks on the board? No,
Cooks.
Okay,
this
he's
guy,
right after us.
Headhunter, has Gus Edwards, and I don't think any other running back.
I don't trust it. I take Dowdle here, and then worst case you one off.
We take Dowdle for sure.
Worst case, you run off another running back. Or
Well,
run
we
off
have two
another running
options
back.
for the Ravens too, as well, and Clyde. So
Yeah.
the question is, do we want to go Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, and Justice Hill if he falls, or Dalvin Cook if he doesn't? Or do we want to go Clyde Edwards-Helaire and just build out the Chiefs? I believe just more in the Ravens to make the Super Bowl. So I think I would lean towards the Ravens.
I think so too. I think so too. We have a really good avenue.
This
though,
is a really good team, though. This is a really good team.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I feel very confident in this one. This one's I mean, the only sketchy thing about this team is that we need 2 really good games out of DeAndre Swift, which is maybe not the most trustworthy thing, especially in the first round. He's got to play against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, no, 100%. And not to mention, if he makes it on, then he would have to play against the San Francisco 49ers. So,
yeah,
potentially.
So not great there, but between Rico Dowdle and these other guys, hopefully Justice falls, dude. This would be
Justice
huge.
falls, that'd be big. That'd be big. Give us a Justice.
Yeah,
give us some Justice.
Could be massive here. If Justice goes, I'm taking Clyde over Justice, I think, or over Dalvin though.
Oh, I agree. Yes, 100%.
Yeah,
give us Justice. Justice Hill.
It would have been. It would have been really nice if we could have anchored this team with Pacheco, but I mean, we also got
Allen and Hurts,
Rice and Kelsey.
Do you see the ADP value on Hurts, by the way? 46th overall.
That's crazy, man. This is a gnarly team, dude.
Yeah.
Where did we get Kelsey and Rice relative to their ADP?
We got Kelsey 8 picks after ADP, Rice 7 picks after ADP.
That's crazy, dude.
Fucking
this
hell.
is a nice
Justice
one, because this one also
after.
You just feel good about betting on these teams in general in the playoffs. It's like Chiefs, Ravens, those are probably 2 of the easier bets in the AFC, and then Cowboys, other than San Fran, are pretty much the easiest bet in the NFC. So
yeah, dude, getting the 2 seed is so big for them. 2 home games, and then the only road game you would have to play is if it was in San Francisco, and you also live to the fact that, let's say that 20% chance, 25% chance the Rams do upset the 49ers, then you're live to an NFC championship at home.
Yeah, that is a beautiful squad, dude.
Oh, yeah.
That is a beautiful squad.
Big fan.
The only thing I would change about it is a better anchor in round 1 or 2. If Gibbs had fallen to us instead of Swift, that would be the only thing that would make this team better.
Agreed.
Because then you get, even if Gibbs is out by the Cowboys in round 2, you get 2 games out of Gibbs. He probably gets you to the NFC championship, and then you just got to rely on Dowdle and Justice from there.
100%.
Yeah, that would be the only thing I'd change about this team, but this is a hell of a unit right here.
Feeling good, brother. Feeling good.
Yeah, we could have went with Kyron, I suppose, too. I think you mentioned going with Kyron would have we wouldn't have had any interference that way. The Cowboys.
But Kyron went before DeAndre, so we were kind of screwed.
Did he go before him? Okay, yeah. That makes sense. We could have gone Montgomery, I suppose, instead of Swift as well.
I think Stafford went before Hurts too.
That's dude. This is a crazy fucking squad. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah.
Like, we have outs with Dak, Dowdle, Lamb, Ferguson. We got a 4-stack of Cowboys. That's 4 players from there. We have Justice, Zay, and Andrews. If it's a Cowboys-Ravens Super Bowl, that's 7 players. We have Kelsey and Rice, the 2 best players on Kansas City in terms of fantasy production.
2 best players on the Ravens too.
Yeah, literally.
They're healthy.
Yeah, the 2 best players on the Ravens, plus a guy that has big play upside with Justice Hill. So, yeah, this is a unit, man. This is a fucking squad and a half.
Two best fucking pass catchers on the Cowboys as well, with Rico Dowdle, who, while you take Tony, Rico Dowdle showed A, standalone upside, and B, if anything were to happen to Tony in the playoffs, Rico Dowdle would then be starting running back for a high.
And they might honestly have a better rushing offense for that happening too, because if Pollard is starting for the Cowboys, they might not be able to run the ball at all. And if say Swift had a big wild card game and Pollard got hurt in the wild card against the Packers, then Dowdle might be able to carry you from there, even if the Eagles get
crazy.
bounced.
That would be crazy.
We're hoping. I've never said. I don't know. I'm gonna hope for a big DeAndre Swift game because he's the key piece of this team.
Oh yeah. Well, like for you, it's like
get a big DeAndre Swift game. I feel confident the rest of the team could cook.
Agreed. Well, when I had to rely upon DeAndre Swift in my BBM, hopefully he has me back this time, because that wasn't great.
Yeah, and also Spicy said in the thing, yes, you don't have to have anything in the Super Bowl. If you can win the gauntlet with only 4 players, you can win it with only 4 players. But there's a good chance that of the I think 200 teams or 300 teams that are in the gauntlet final, somebody's going to have advanced 5 or 6 players.
Yeah, for sure. And
you also have to keep in mind too that you might get 6 players to the Super Bowl, but somebody might have the 6 players you have plus a 7th player. So it's there's absolutely no chance you can beat that team. because they also, I think Underdog has it so that if you advance more players, then that would give you the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew that or not. Like, say if we had this team in the Super Bowl with the Chiefs and with the Cowboys, if somebody had Dak, Dowdle, Lamb, Ferguson, Rice, and Kelsey, but also had Cooks, they would actually beat us no matter what, because they would have all the points that we would have, and also they have the tiebreaker having an additional Cowboy. Which sucks. And that's part of the rationale for maybe just stacking up 8 or 9 players in the Super Bowl. But at the same time, a lot has to, like, I'd rather do what we're doing and just be like, that sucks that we lost in the Super Bowl for that reason. Because there's a good chance this is way more.
That's a weird tiebreaker. I'm not gonna lie. It is a weird
tiebreaker. But I heard Karain and Overset talking about that. I actually didn't even know that, but it makes sense why. Because it's like they're gonna get all the points that you're gonna get because they have the same players, but they should also then be rewarded for advancing more players than you did.
For sure. But either way, we pretty much wrapped up these teams. 2 CMC teams, 2 CD Lamb teams. Went really well.
Yeah, I actually I like that Leonardo asked us a question right here, because before we get out of here, again, I would like to showcase our Flock trade calculator, because this is a good way to do it. Anytime you guys ask us a trade, I'm gonna always default to this. So Leonardo, you said is a 1 quarterback league. I'm assuming it's PPR, but let me know if there's any other things in here. We're going to go with your trade calculator, or we're going to make this trade calculator grade your trade for you. So we're using my rankings. You guys can see that. You can default to all expert rankings, all community rankings. You can go with Danny's rankings. You can go with Mason's rankings, Badake, Zach, whoever's on the site. We'll go with mine just for ease sake here. You traded away the 201 Swift and Elijah Moore for the 102 and 2/3. So we're going to give you the 102. We're going to give you third. I'm assuming they're 2024 thirds, but correct me if they're anything different. So we're going to give you another 2024 third. And then you traded away the 201. Oh, it's going to make me, I think we don't have it set to actual picks for 2024 in the second round. So it'll just be an early second in this case. And then DeAndre Swift, you said. DeAndre Swift. And then also was Elijah Moore. I'm assuming that is not Elijah Mitchell. And then we'll see what the trade grades in. Again, because it's customized to your league settings, we have it as a 1 quarterback league. It's not going to value, say the 102 a little bit higher in a super flex format than it would in a 1 quarterback format. This is most likely Malik Neighbors, not Drake May or Marvin Harrison. So it says that you are robbing them in this trade. You're getting, like I said, Malik Neighbors most likely in this trade. The 2/3, as much as I love Elijah Moore and once thought he was a great player, and I still do think he's a solid player, I think I would take 2/3 for him, to be honest. Maybe not in a 1 quarterback league, more so in a super flex league, but this is a really good class. There's a lot of good players in it. Take the 2 dart throws over Elijah Moore. I don't think it's a terrible process. And early second in DeAndre Swift ain't getting me to Malik Neighbors. Let me tell you that for free.
Especially in a 1 quarterback. Yeah.
Yeah. So, of course, if you guys do want to use that trade calculator, you can sign up for a free trial on Flock Fantasy, 7 days for free. You can use it all you want in those 7 days. And then after which you obviously would be charged, but make sure you use promo code FSC when you sign up. You'll get 30% off any of the packages. If you want to sign up annually, this is the time of year that are great for consultations. So if you get when you sign up annually, you get a free Zoom consultation. And this time of year, if you're in 4 or 5 dynasty leagues, you're like, hey, I just won the championship in this dynasty league. I'm rebuilding in that dynasty league. What should I do in each one? Consults are the easiest way to get advice from us. And of course, also you would get first priority submissions to Dynasty Decisions episodes, which we will be running a lot of January, February, March, this time of year when we're looking for content ideas. So if that interests you, flockfantasy.com, promo code FSC, link down below in the description for that. That is the end of the stream. Thank you guys for joining us. We will be back tomorrow, either with some kind of like recap from the NFL season stuff, or we might talk some Dynasty. Not exactly sure scheduling wise what we want to do. Let us know in the comments after the stream is over. Do you want to see like Dynasty stashes, or like what do you want to do with like the Tyreek Hills and the Stephon Diggs of the world? Somebody suggested that in our Discord, and I thought that was a good idea. Like, what do we do with aging assets right now? And also, do you want to see us like recap the running back position in fantasy this year and talk about our hits and misses, our lessons learned, all the kind of stuff that we can take away from the 2023 NFL season? So let us know down below what you think of that. But with that being said, peace out, and we'll talk to you soon.